welcome each and every one of you for this lovely session today, wherein it's on a weekday, yes, but people have spare time. That means people are interested. And I'm sure most of you are actually also concerned about how to make your career in cybersecurity. So quickly, while we wait, it's about just about a minute to go, and I see already we're close to 100 people, and yeah, we crossed 100 people. So on the chat, quickly, just let me know if you can hear me clearly. Just put a yes if you can hear me. I'll just open the chat window. Okay, great, great, great. So, how many of you are actually concerned or worried or not sure about the career prospects in cybersecurity industry? Just put yes if you are. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. And how many of you are actually looking at this as an opportunity to learn something in cybersecurity as well as see opportunities for job placements and for your career prospects in cybersecurity? Just put a yes or put a me this time. Let's put a me. Okay, okay, okay. Great, great. Okay, so here, what I am going to do here is without taking much time, I will just make sure that you guys are getting the most out of this next 60 minutes of this exciting session coming up with Mr. Gaurav Sharma. Now, Gaurav Sharma is, of course, one of our experts in the cybersecurity industry and he's been working with us for a bit. And he would be taking you through the journey of how we go about place making a career in cybersecurity and the tips and tricks of the trade. I'm sure he would have lots of things which can help us grow gray cells today. uh, Kathi, Gopi, for this session, there is no certificate, unfortunately. But let me tell you one thing: there's a lot of information which will be shared. Also, there will be a lot of things which would be discussed. Plus, Eduonix is also going to share something exciting during the course of this session. So stay tuned. I'm sure that that activity will definitely help you guys out in shaping up your career in cybersecurity. So thank you each and every one of you. One ground rule, let me inform you, we're keeping the chat open for each and every one of you. Let's respect the speaker. Let's allow Gaurav to complete his session, and we will definitely have lots of question and answers round during this 60-minute session. So without taking much time, I see already 180 plus attendees. Thank you each and every one of you, and welcome to this session from Eduonix. This live online training on career for cybersecurity by Mr. Gaurav Sharma. So Gaurav, without taking time, I'll just allow you the mic. Are you there, Gaurav?
Hi, yes, I'm there.
All right, Gaurav, thank you. So I will hand it over to you. I will be around co-hosting you guys. So over to you, Gaurav. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Can I share my screen, Vivek?
Yes, now you can share your screen, please.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Anyone, please? Okay, great. So good evening, everyone. We know that more and more businesses and individuals, they are using internet and technology, and this is going to just increase in future with a lot of digital transactions happening and newer technologies coming in and supporting the businesses. But so are the cyber criminals as well. They're going to increase, and more and more cyber attacks are going to increase in future. Now, the future looks challenging because the cyber attacks are at an all-time high. But what is also good for us who are looking to make a career in cybersecurity is that the demand is going to increase in future. Okay, so I'm Gaurav Sharma, and I welcome you to this session on career in cybersecurity. Okay, so just to give you a brief idea about my background, who I am. So I have more than 13 years of experience, which includes university teaching experience, training students on different technologies in cybersecurity and networking domain. I also have consulting experience. I also help the police department and private organization. I have this company called as Risco Technologies, and I'm the founder of this company, under which I also do the consulting work. And as far as education goes, I have a master's degree in computer engineering. I'm doing my PhD, and I have done a couple of certifications. So this is a bit of my background. Now let's see what is the agenda for today. So we'll discuss about the need for cybersecurity in order to understand how and what a cybersecurity professional does, and why a cybersecurity professionals are required. We need to understand the need for cybersecurity. Then we will discuss the types of cyber attacks and cyber crimes. I know you are interested in cybersecurity. That's the reason why you are here today. All right. And you are aware about certain cyber attacks and certain cyber crimes. But I will still take you through this again to revisit all those cyber attacks, that you might have seen, heard of. I'll take you through them. In the process, you will also, I'm sure, come to know a few. You'll come to know about a few more attacks. Okay, so that, and we will relate it with the domains that we have under cybersecurity. Okay, so we'll look at the cyber attacks and cybercrime, their types. Then we will discuss about the techniques for being safe in the cyberspace. Now, this will also help. I want to make the session useful for you as an individual as well. So as an individual, how you can become a little more safer in the cyberspace, and in the industry, in the organization, when you will take up the role of a cyber security professional, what all things you will be doing, what all technologies you will be working on, to make your organization safe in the cyberspace. And then we will, of course, the most important part, we will discuss about the career in cybersecurity, and for making a career in cybersecurity, what are the skills and specializations that you need. Okay, so this is going to be the agenda for the session today. All right, so let's start. Let's begin with discussing the need for cybersecurity. Okay, so I'm sure you might have come across this term called as cyberspace. Now, we don't just live in one world these days. We actually have multiple identities. Okay, we have an identity in the real world, and we have an identity in the cyberspace, the cyber world. All of us are, on social media, and sometimes we portray what we are, sometimes we don't portray what we are in the real life. So we have an identity, our presence in the cyberspace as well. So why do we need to protect, or what do we need to protect when we actually use internet, or when we are in the cyberspace? So we need to protect our devices. Now, whatever we are going to discuss is going to be true as an individual and as organizations for which we are working. Okay, so we need to protect our devices. Okay, we don't want our computers, or laptops, mobiles to be hacked, because what happens if those devices are compromised? We also lose our data. The second challenge is to protect our data from getting hacked, from getting corrupted. Thieves cyber criminals can steal your data and misuse it, but they can also make your data corrupt. For example, about ransomware attack. The data is with you, but you cannot use it. Okay, so we need to protect our data, and at the same time, we also need to protect our online and offline identity. All right. Um, you can just think of someone actually creating a false fake account on your name and misusing your identity. So your identity can also be hijacked. Uh, as a professional, also this can be a little challenging. You might have heard about this in different news articles, or that someone has faked his identity, and he was portraying himself as someone from the defense or someone from the customs department. Okay? So we need to protect our data, our devices, our identities as well. Okay. So just to begin the session with a few statistics, uh, 350 million photos are uploaded on Facebook each day. Facebook generates so much of data. I'm sure you might have heard about this many times. The numbers keep on changing as we go ahead in future. But see the enormous amount of data that we are generating. Every day, 306 plus billion emails are sent. Okay, and then it's also estimated that by 2021, I think it's an estimate made in 2020 that 35 billion IoT devices will be installed around the world. Now, just think the human population is around 7.5 billion, and around 50% of the human population actually uses the internet. But just imagine 7.5 billion human beings and 35 billion IoT devices. They're all connected. They're all your devices. They all collect your data, and they're all connected to the internet. Now, just imagine the amount of data that they are going to generate, and the amount of data which is there available for the cyber criminals to get their hands on. Okay. And cyber crimes. So this is an estimate that around $16.4 billion worth of losses are suffered every day. Okay. There are 2,200 attacks happening each day. That's huge amount of big number of attacks happening every day. So this can set the premise that what I said initially, that this is going to increase. The cyber attacks are going to increase, and the requirement for the professionals are going to increase further in future. Now let's quickly talk about data. Okay. If you have anything that you would like to discuss, ask me. You can just put it in the chat, and we'll discuss that as well. If you have anything, any query at any point of time, and we have a exclusive question answer session at the end. So to begin with this data, uh, I'm sure you might not have thought about the data that you have in this fashion. Okay, so your data can be, if you're working professional, it can be your business data or the organization's data that you are handling, that you are responsible for, and then there's your personal data. Now, all the personal data can also be sensitive data and non-sensitive data that you need to protect. For example, your name, address. You just don't share your names and details like your addresses and driving license number with anyone. It's only need to know basis, right? But you can share your emails, your gender, your date of birth. That's non-sensitive data. So we have sensitive data and non-sensitive data. All this is called as personally identifiable information. Using this is one type of data that hackers are after, because that's how they can get more information about you, the target, and which can then be misused by those cyber criminals. At the same time, which is also more important, is your business data. You have data about the people in your organization. You have the data related to your intellectual property that you need to protect. Just imagine you have a manufacturing company. You have certain processes. You build certain product. You have data about that product, which should not fall into the hands of your competitors. That's your intellectual property. You need to protect that data. Now, with this, I want to establish one fact, that cybersecurity professionals are not just required in IT sector, it's required in all the sectors, be it pharmaceutical, manufacturing, be it any industry, automobile, everywhere cybersecurity professionals are required. Okay. So this is the kind of data that we want to protect. You might have heard about this is called as the CIA triad. The CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, I know you know about this. Some of you know about this, but the reason I'm talking about this again is so that we can understand the roles later. Okay, so confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So let's just have a quick look at these. Okay, these are called as the three pillars of security. Confidentiality means that whatever data that you have should be confidential, should be private, only to the people who are authorized. No one else should get this data. Okay, no unauthorized individual or entity should get this data. Integrity is your data should not change. Whether it's stored in your Google Drive, it should not change. Whether you're transmitting it to your friend, it should not change in between. So data should not be altered by someone who is not authorized to handle that data. And finally, the availability. Whenever you need your data, it should be available to the authorized user. Now, if have stored something on my Google Drive, whenever I need it, I should be able to get it. Okay, that's the simplest example of availability. Just remember these points, these three properties of security. Let us talk about impact of breach. What happens when someone actually attacks your systems and steals your data or hacks into your system? Okay, so as an individual and as an organization, what you will suffer is loss of reputation. Okay, your data gets lost. Customers' data you have certain customers and their data is leaked. Your customers are not going to have confidence in you anymore. Okay, so loss of reputation. Hackers can steal your data, so you have data theft. Okay, you have financial losses happening. Someone steals your bank information, credit card information, and you suffer financial losses because of that. Penalties, fines, if you do not follow certain rules. For example, you might have, has anyone, I'm sure you have heard about it, about the GDPR rules in European Union. Anyone? Anyone? Just give me a yes if you. Okay, great. All right, so I'll tell you about what GDPR is. Okay, just to make sure that you understand this. Now, if you start working for a company, any company, and if you want to offer your services or you're offering a product to any individual who is a citizen of European Union, and which means the citizen becomes your customer. Okay, obviously you will also get to, you need to store his information, his user ID, his email, his confidential data. Now, if you do not follow the standard, which is called as European Union, GDPR, that's General Data Protection Regulation rules, then if you do not follow those rules, then you cannot do business in European Union. Now, if you just come up with a product, something like a social media service, and you want to offer that in European Union, you have to follow those rules, those guidelines. If you don't follow them, then European Union can actually, put fines on you, and you won't be able to do your business there. You might have heard this in the news that European Union has fined millions of dollars to Facebook and many other companies for not following the rules. Okay, so this is really important. So as a security professional, cybersecurity professional, this is also required, and later on we will be talking about this as a role as well. Okay, then you also have tangible losses. Okay, you suffer financial losses because of which your business gets impacted, and then you have to sell your office space, or there's a loss of tangible property, the real world property. So these are some of the serious impacts of any cybersecurity breach that can happen to you as an individual and as an organization as well. Okay. So let's quickly take a tour of what are the different types of cyber attacks and cyber crimes, and then we will move towards the roles. Okay. So just to give you a difference between what are cyber crimes and what are cyber attacks. So cyber crimes is anything which which is criminal in nature, which is not permitted by the law, and cyber attacks is a subset of it. Cyber attacks talks about the tools and techniques, how you're going to do a cyber crime, which also means that there are certain cyber crimes which cannot be called as cyber attacks, but they are criminal activities in nature. For example, if your friend gets to know your password, okay, a banking password, he may steal the money. He's not doing an attack. He has not used any technique to steal information from you or hack into your system. Okay, just because he revealed it to you, he has done a crime which involves computers and internet and technology. But that cannot be called as a cyber attack. But that's a cyber crime in general. Okay, so we have cyber crime, and yes, people, hackers in general terms, they use cyber attacks to do cyber crimes. So what are the different types of attackers? Now we also need to know this, because as cyber security professionals, we are going to be dealing with them as well. So we need to know what are the different types of cyber attackers. So we have outsiders. Outsiders are the people who are not part of your organization. They can be grouped as organized attackers, who are professionals. They hack to earn money. Their primary aim is to gain money out of it, gain monetary benefits. So they are cyber criminals. They are also hacktivists. Now this is a combination of two words. It's hackers who who also call themselves as activists. They have an agenda in mind. They want to prove something. Okay, so hacktivists is a combination of hackers and activists, and they just want to prove a certain points, and they want to bring certain servers of a government just to show that they don't agree to certain laws or guidelines or rules. So they are basically activists. Then we have cyber terrorists. They have the agenda to disrupt the economies. They target countries. They target organizations, and with just like we have terrorists in the real world, we have hackers who want to do this as terrorists in the cyberspace. Then we have state sponsored. You might have heard about something called a cyber war, where countries have a team of hackers who are actually spying on the other countries, and they want to steal information, cyber espionage. Okay, so we have state sponsored hackers. Now they fall into the organized attackers. Then we have individual or a small group of hackers. They can be categorized as black hats, gray hats, and white hats, or black hat hackers. They are professional hackers who want to just steal your money. Okay, they have a bad intention when they do hacking activity. Then we have white hat hackers. They are the good people. They have the hacking skills. They do it. They do hacking so that they can make you aware about your vulnerabilities, so that you can plug those vulnerabilities, and then you can stop attacks from someone who is outside your organization with malicious intent. Now we have also gray hat hackers, who sometimes take up the role of a black hat hackers. Sometimes they do the good stuff by taking up the role of a white hat hackers. Okay. We also have amateurs, who are learners. Basically, they just learn about how to use certain scripts. They learn how to use certain tools, ready-made scripts to do certain hacking activity. So they are amateurs. They just want to prove a point that they can do something. Okay. Then we have insiders. Insiders generally are the employees of an organization who steal information. Sometimes that is done intentionally. Sometimes they have no intention, but they do it, and in the process, the information gets leaked. So insiders are generally the employees who are currently working with the organization. They have access to certain resources in the organization. There can be ex-employees who have left your organization, but they still, so suppose you an employee has left your organization and you have not stopped his user account, okay, and he's, once he has left your organization, he tries one day logging into his account and finds out that he can do it, and he steals information. Okay, now he's working for your competitor, so he can, just simply pass on that data information to the competitor. Then you have contractors. Now organizations have contractors. For example, in an organization there can be a supplier. Okay, there can be a housekeeping contractor who and their employees are there in your organization. They work in your, they come and they are on the payroll of a contractor, but they come and work in your physical space, and they have access to physical computers and network, and they can also steal some information from your organization. And then you also have business partners, your suppliers, your distributors, okay? And they also have certain access to your data. So those are the type of insider who can launch an attack on your devices, data, steal your identity, steal your data and information, which is confidential to you. Okay, just to give you a very basic idea about the different types of attacks. Okay, I'll just have a look at the. Okay, so just to give you an idea about what are the different types of attacks, every type of attack that we can think of can be classified as a passive attack, or the other one is the active attack, which you're going to see in the next slide. So passive attack is where the attacker actually doesn't do any harm, which is noticeable. Okay, the hacker will simply try to steal information which is being sent over a network or which is stored on a server, and it will just make a copy of it, and then it will use it. It will steal information and it will use it, okay? Or it will just monitor what you're doing, your activities. So here, the users, they generally don't come to know that that data is being stolen, because the entire attack is passive in nature. Then you have a set of attacks called as active attacks, where your systems are not available. You might have heard about some attacks like DOS attack. Have you heard about DOS attacks? Yes, denial of service, or what is more rampant these days, what is more used these days is distributed denial of service. Okay, so we'll talk about that as well. That's an example of an active attack. Now, what the attacker does, remember the three properties that we saw earlier: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So any act of hacking will affect confidentiality, because your information, which was true for passive as well, here also your confidentiality is breached because your data is leaked out to the hacker. In the active attack, again, your confidentiality is breached because your hacker gets your data. Hacker can also modify the data. Just imagine someone, just to give you an idea, you go to a coffee shop and there you see that there's a free Wi-Fi, and you connect to that free Wi-Fi. Okay. Now, what can also happen, if you don't know, there can be a hacker who just steals your data because it's a free network. It's not very, you cannot trust that network. So someone can steal your data there, and he can modify, the attacker can modify your data as well. So so for example, if, say here in this case, Bob is sending a message to Alice, hacker gets that message, okay, modifies the message which was sent by Bob to Alice and sends it to Alice. Now, Alice doesn't know that this message is actually a modified message. Okay, that's an active attack because the hacker has modified the message or has disturbed the communication happening between the two parties. which is Bob and Alice. Okay, all these types of attacks, they affect confidentiality. They also breach integrity, because the message is not the same anymore. And availability. Availability is your data, your system, your service is not available to you. Just imagine here the hacker sends a lot of message to Alice, and Alice cannot respond. Okay, so if Alice is a server, so that's an example for DOS, which we're going to see later. But active attacks affect confidentiality, integrity, and availability, all the three properties. So this is an example for a DOS or a DDoS attack, DDoS to be more precise. Here the hacker actually sends a malware or a small Trojan to many computers, say hundreds and thousands of computers. Now those computers are like zombies, or they're called as bots. Okay, and what they will do is they will wait for the attacker to send them an instruction, and they will send a lot of messages to the target server. This is the target server, which is the real target of the hacker. Now what happens when the server gets a lot of message? He has to reply, the server has to reply back. But just imagine you getting a lot of requests at the same time, so you cannot just obviously respond to all the requests. Okay, so this is the idea behind DOS attack, DDoS attack. There are a lot of techniques. Some of you might have studied some of those techniques, but some of those techniques that you are still studying have become obsolete. Routers and switches these days can detect these type of attack, but hackers and attackers use more sophisticated techniques. Okay, in the real world, when you start working as a cybersecurity professional, you'll come to know that there are some sophisticated techniques that you might not have studied earlier in your academics. Okay, so this is an example for DDoS attack. Then you might have heard about this man-in-the-middle attack as well. Okay, man-in-the-middle attack. So the hacker actually disturbs the communication, stops the communication happening between the two genuine users. Here in this case, we have user and the server, and hijacks everything, hijacks all the communication. Okay, this can be done by the hacker by sending malwares like Trojans, or one example, great example is ransomware. You cannot access your own data, which is there in your own server or in your own computer, because what the hacker has done, he has sent a malware to your computer, and your data is not available to you. Okay, so man-in-the-middle attack, phishing attacks, sending Trojans to control your systems and hack into your system, all fall under active attacks. Okay, then okay, we'll just we have a 1 hour session. This will be done. I just wanted to give you a brief idea about these attacks so that we can talk about the roles. Okay, what is more important as a cybersecurity professionals today and in the future are web application attacks. I'm sure you might have heard about these. How many of you have heard about OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities? OWASP. Okay, OWASP is a body which periodically comes up with list of top 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, the last list that was released was in 2017. It is expected that a new list will come in 2021, the current year. So OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security Project. It's a body which comes up with a list. Now, these are the type of attacks which happen on the web. And I'll tell you why they are more important. Because as a cybersecurity professional, this is what you're going to deal the most. Okay. Injection attack, I'm sure you might have heard about SQL injection or SQL injection attacks. There are code injection attacks. They all fall under a type of attack called as injection, where you actually insert, the hacker or the attacker inserts his own code into the request, fooling the server and getting the information from the server. So we are not going to get into the details of how these attacks happen. I just want you to be aware about these attacks. So we have injection, a family of attack called as injection, and it is the number one type of attack that is prevalent on internet, on this in the cyberspace. Then we have broken authentication attack, sensitive data exposure attack. Okay, we can have one entire session talking about all these attacks individually. Okay, so I'm just going a little quick here, just to make you aware about these attacks. We have XML, external entities attack, broken access control attack. Okay, you might have heard of cross-site scripting as well. Cross-site scripting attack. This is SQL injection. Yes, just yes. Can our data be leaked by hackers after connecting to Wi-Fi? Yes, it can happen. It can happen. Okay, so SQL injection is something that you might have heard. Cross-site scripting is, again, cross-site is user is one site, the server is the other site, and for example, you have this login page where you have a user ID and a password field, and you can actually, instead of putting your username and a password, you actually write a script, and your server is not secured enough, hardened enough to understand that this is not an input, this is actually a script. And you actually pass on a script, and the script runs on the user end, on the server side, and gives you a data which you're not supposed to get anyway. So cross-site scripting, insecure deserialization. These are some of the these are the top 10. There are many more, but these are the top 10 types of vulnerabilities which many websites, web portals have. And attackers, they actually, when they do a research on their targets, they actually look for these vulnerabilities in their target system. Okay, so as a cybersecurity professional, if you work in this domain, your task would be to ensure that these vulnerabilities are plugged. Okay, and these are the top 10 vulnerabilities in the web applications. Now, it's estimated that 75% of all cyber attacks are actually web application attacks. So this is the huge area that we are looking at if you're looking at working as a cybersecurity professionals. Okay, 75% of cyber attacks are based on these vulnerabilities. Okay? Just to give you a quick idea about what could be in the list, if you see many of those vulnerabilities which are there in the list of 2017 will reappear in list of 2021 as well. Okay, so these are the top vulnerabilities that we're looking at, but there are many more as well. Then let us quickly talk about something that that will help you as an individual in your daily life as well, and as well as a professional, even if you're working in any field. So social engineering attacks. So very quickly, I'll take you through this. Okay. So social engineering attacks. Social engineering is, I'm sure you might have heard about this term called as social engineering attacks, where people actually trick you in revealing information. Okay, this can be done in a technical way, in a technical manner, or a non-technical manner. So I can talk to you and I can get information out of you. That can be a non-technical way of social engineering, and there can be a technical way. So we'll talk about this very quickly. So pretexting is when you actually you might have got a call like this, or I'm sure you know about people who have got a call from their bank, and they are trying to the bank official on the other end is trying to get information out of you, like your OTPs or account numbers. They are all malicious people who are cyber criminals who are trying to get your OTP so that they can do a fraud with you. Okay, so pretexting is taking up the identity of someone else. Okay, then you have baiting. You might have got messages, emails offering you something as a reward to fill up a survey or reveal, or instead of in place of getting some data uh, which you will not normally reveal. Okay, for example, you get a form and they say you'll get a free ebook if you fill up this survey form, and they ask you for your email ID and stuff like that. Okay, your name and number, phone number, and that's a bait that they are giving it to you so that you can reveal certain information. Yes, we'll talk about phishing and farming as well. Yes, social engineering, lottery is, yes, very good example for this. Yes, so yes, so this happens to all of us in daily life. Um, we all get mails and messages like this, so we need to be very vigilant. No bank official is going to send you a message and ask you for your information. They will never do it. Okay, so we have to be very careful. That's the reason I'm saying this. As an individual and as a professional, both your roles, this is going to help you. This information is going to help you. Okay? So baiting and role playing. Role playing is, again, someone is trying to say that that he's calling you from a job site and your CV has been selected and you need to pay certain money up front for arranging an interview. So there are a lot of frauds like these. Okay? So role playing. Dumpster diving is this can be, in the real world, it can be as simple as you have written down your password, memorized it, and you just throw it away in the dustbin. And someone someone who finds it in the dustbin gets to see your password. But in the digital world, this can be, this could be as simple as a friend of you comes to your place, uses your computer, tries to find out where you have saved your passwords, in what Word file or a text file, and tries to get that information. So that's dumpster diving. Shoulder surfing is your friend now, instead of searching your computer for a file, actually stands behind you when you're typing in the password. This can also happen digitally, when the hacker has installed a program like a keylogger or a Trojan, and whenever you type a password, the keylogger, which is running in the back end of your computer, which you don't know about, records it and sends it to the hacker. Okay, so that's shoulder surfing. Some hackers also gather information by visiting the websites of the organizations and their forums to steal information. Now just think of this scenario. You are a hacker and you want to hack a company called as XYZ. So what you can do is you can go to their LinkedIn page or the job posting sites where they have posted their requirement. So if they have posted a requirement for a system administrator with, say, Windows Server and PHP administrator, so you know what technology they're working on, right? So you get some information about your target system, what technology they work on. Okay, so you get some information like this. Phishing. Everyone, I'm sure, have heard about this. Okay, we'll take up these questions. How you will come to know that someone is seeing your password? Make sure that you periodically check your systems for Trojans, and make sure that you don't have any malwares. I'll be talking about some best practices after this, which will help you in understanding how to be safe in the cyber world, and will answer your questions. So phishing is something that we all have heard about, right? Phishing is someone tries to trick you in revealing the information, and there are types of phishing. So let us understand by the types what phishing is. So there's a type called as vishing. Vishing simply means voice phishing. Someone calls you up and says that, yes, I'm calling from your bank. Please reveal this information to me, or your card will be blocked. Now, this is phishing based on voice calls. Okay, this is very, very prevalent. Less of a technical in nature, more of an artistic work. How easily the hacker can convince the target. That all depends on that. Smishing is similar to wishing, but here the same thing is done using text messages or email. Then you have spear phishing, when the attacker doesn't send malware to everyone, just everyone. Okay? The hacker has identified a company, a group of individual, or a specific individual, and they only target those individuals. That's spear phishing. Spear phishing is targeted phishing. Okay? Then you also have whaling. Whaling is, this term comes from whale. Whale is a big sea creature. Okay, it's a mammal. Just like we have high-end executives, like senior management people, and when the attacker actually targets only those type of people, it's called as whaling. This can be, again, the entire phishing attack can be a technical one or a non-technical one. So the most common one that you might have heard of is creating a false or fake website. Okay, and you get a mail that you can log into your bank account by just clicking here, and you need to change your password. You click on the link. That mail was actually a forged email sent to you by the attacker. You click on it, and then you are taken to a fake website of your bank. It just looks like your bank. You put your user ID and password there, and that goes to the hacker, and then unknowingly you reveal your confidential information to the hacker. So all these are the type of attacks that you need to know about. You need to protect yourself and your organization from these kind of attacks as a cybersecurity professional. Okay, just let me look at the chat. Okay, I can show you how it happens, but that can be for a different session. Okay, so we have to move towards the career. That's not the agenda for today, but yes, we can have a different session maybe later, sometime later. Let us talk about social media crimes. So what happens on the social media? Every one of us is on a social media, at least one social media platform. Now, I'm sure you will relate with what I'm talking now. Okay, you might have heard this happening to you or some of your friends. Okay, one is account hacking. The easiest way of getting information is hacking the social media accounts of people. You can steal information, you can steal pictures, you can steal information, other information, your location, for example. There are offers and shopping scams happening on the social media. You're browsing, say, Facebook, all of a sudden you see an ad that there's a product which is offered to you at only 10% of cost, and you click on that. That's a scam. Okay, so from social media, all this happens. Honey traps and dating scams, and I'm sure you might have heard about this as well. Someone sends you a request and then tricks you in revealing certain information which is confidential. People often share their images which they would normally not share, okay, with anyone. Okay, there are dating scam, and you might have heard about this. There's a guy on social media platform, a girl sends a request, they start dating online, and then all of a sudden the girl or the boy, whoever, who is the attacker, the hacker, starts asking for some money, and eventually this leads to financial scams. Okay, so you need to be very, very aware about all these. There's link baiting, just like baiting we saw earlier. Here you get on social media websites, you get links on which you click, and then you are taken to a false site offering you false discounts. Okay, there is hate speech happening on the social media. Twitter is the most prominent one here. People often put hate speech, hate messages. Their accounts get blocked. Right. This is a crime. Spreading hate is also a crime. It's not an attack, but it's a crime. Okay. Then there is cyber terrorism. Fake news is the perfect example for this. The idea behind terrorism is to inculcate a sense of terror. Okay, I'll just take up one question. Okay, if your Facebook account is hacked, what can you do? First thing is you need to report it. Immediately do one thing. You reset your password, okay, so that no more damage can be done, and report it to Facebook or any social media wherever you have that account. And what you can also do is, if you see that there is some damage done, you can quickly approach the cyber cell of your area, and then report it. Okay. First thing that I'll suggest is reset your password. So we have cyber terrorism. Likewise, we have cyber harassment. There is cyber bullying. There are different types of cyber harassments. people are often mentally harassed. There are different types of cyber harassment. Now, if you have experienced this, or if you know someone who has experienced this, please ensure that you come out of this. You help your friends. One is profile hacking. Someone's profile gets hacked, and all sorts of false information is posted after hacking the profile. This can have a mental you know this can take a mental toll on the victim. This comes under cyber harassment. This is a cyber crime. Cyber stalking, if you're trying to stalk someone, just like in the real world, you actually follow someone, and try to harass that person. Same thing can be done on the social media. That's also a crime that can be reported. I have worked on many cases which involve all these. There's cyber bullying. Just in the real world, you bully a person. There are people who actually bully. This actually happens a lot with school kids and college kids, where they are bullied online. Okay, this cyber defamation. You actually defame someone on the social media in a group. If you try to just spread false information or try to defame someone, that comes under cyber defamation. Cyber defamation, there are different types again. There's revenge porn. This is actually a reality. Okay, someone actually this is actually very, very prevalent. You hate someone. Okay, what do? You create a false morph image of that person and put it on the social media sites. Okay, this is called as revenge porn. Your idea is to take revenge on that person. Then there is photo morphing, which can also defame a particular person. You can just think of what you can morph and then put it on the social media. These are all crimes. Trolling someone online on social media, public shaming, making fun of someone is also a crime, and doxing. Doxing is, you might have heard about this right to privacy. I don't want to reveal information which is confidential. You come to know about someone's confidential information and you post it online. That's also a breach, right? This is called as doxing. When you actually find out someone's real information and post it online without his or her permission, that also comes under cyber defamation and is a cyber crime. Now, as an individual, you need to take care of all these for yourself, your friends and family, as well as in your organization. Okay, because there can be cyberbullying in the organization as well. There can be profile hacking in the organization as well. Okay. Okay, cyber cell. That's a personal experience. I have worked with cyber cell. That's maybe that's your individual experience. To some extent, that's a harsh reality, but that happens. Yeah. Okay. So cyberbullying, just to give you a rough estimate, if you see India is at the top, 37%. Cyberbullying is most prevalent in these countries, and India has 30. In India, 37% of people have faced cyberbullying, especially school-going kids. Okay, and these are all based on reported cases. This is the statistics from 2008, where the parents have shared this information. Okay, that their child has experienced cyberbullying. This is the harsh reality of the cyberspace. Okay, just imagine there are so many unreported cases which are not included in this. Then you have email-related crimes. Very quickly, some major email-related crimes: email spoofing. Spoof email comes to you, and then you are tricked into believing that this comes from a genuine organization or genuine person. Sending malicious codes through email, that's a crime. Okay, email bombing, getting a lot of emails from the same source. Okay, that's also a crime. Sending a threatening email is a crime. Sending defamatory emails with defaming someone is a crime. So if you send me an email and you try to defame me in that email, I can actually go and report it to the authorities. Email frauds happening through email. Just like you get a voice call and they talk to you and they try to get information out of you, you can also get fraud emails. Lottery emails, I'm sure everyone must have got emails from Chevrolet lottery or some other companies lottery scheme. What I want to talk about is business email compromise. This is one of the most prevalent and the easiest way of cyber crimes happening, with small and medium scale companies. Many small and medium scale companies are targeted using business email compromise. Okay, their email is compromised, and then fake email is sent on their behalf, the organization's behalf, to their customers, and the customers feel they're talking to someone from the company. So business email compromise. Okay, cyber cell jobs. Very good question. Cyber cell jobs are hard to find. People in cyber cell, those who are working in a cyber cell on a permanent payroll, they are all police officials. Okay, and you need to enter into the police department, police force, and then you will be transferred into cyber cell. What you can do is, as a cybersecurity professional, as a freelancer, you can help cyber cell. They actually respect and need support from industry as well. In order to become a raw agent or for services, okay, so how to identify fake emails? Okay, fake emails. Okay, fake emails. What you can do is you can go and see the email header. Okay, email header, and from there you can find out the real originator of that particular email. So if you get an email from Chevrolet telling you that you have won a lottery, just go to the email header part, which you will find in Google Gmail. You will find it under options, settings options. You will find it. Just search for email header, and there you will get the real source from where you get the email. Okay. Then another type of cybercrime is, in the interest of time, I'll take up these questions at the end together. Okay. Ransomware, you know about this ransomware. I just want you to see the trend of the number of ransomware attacks happening. 2019, 11.5 billion. 2021, it's 20 billion, almost the double of what we had last year. Okay, and this is going to increase further. Okay, so this is one cyber crime which is the most easiest and the most prevalent these days. Now I'll just talk about the techniques for being safe in the cyberspace. Okay, what is ransomware? Okay, I'll just take up this question. This is a very basic question, so I'll take it up. Now, what happens is, it's just a malware, a malicious software, which, just like a virus, it's a kind of a Trojan, which is sent to you. You download it unknowingly, and you click on a link in the email, and it gets downloaded. Or you go to a site from where you download a pirated software, and then it gets downloaded into your computer. What it does is, when you run the file, it will encrypt all your data. So the data is there in your computer, but you cannot see it because it's all encrypted. Now, what you will have is, after this encryption is done, a message will pop up on your screen like this, which we have on the right-hand side. It's from WannaCry. It's a message from WannaCry. It will ask you to pay money as a ransom. Okay, and if you pay it in bitcoins or cryptocurrency, then they will send a key which will decrypt your message, all your data, and then your data will be available to you back to you. Okay, that's the idea behind ransomware. How to know about the software? Yes, there are certain best practices that I'll talk about in this section, which is techniques for being safe in the cyberspace. Again, this is applicable to you as an individual and as a security professional working for any organization. Okay, so I'll talk about a term called as cyber hygiene. First thing is passwords, very important. Periodically change it. Okay, make sure that it's strong. So to be safe, know what are the best practices in cyber awareness. So let us see what are the best practices. Only visit trusted websites. Okay, just check if you are putting your financial information, your credit card information, or login ID or password. Make sure that you see a lock there in the address bar. It is HTTPS. Okay, Visit trusted websites. Do not share personal information online. Okay, do not share it online. If someone sends you an email asking you for confidential information, make sure that you trust that person who has sent this message to you, and only then reveal that personal information. Use strong passwords. Make sure that your password is a combination of special characters, capital letters, small letters, numbers. Okay? Change passwords periodically. Very important. Use multi-factor authentication. Okay, for logging into your account, you have a password, then there's an OTP as well, something like that, so that you have double layer or multiple layers of protection for your accounts. Do not share OTPs in any case. In any case, okay, do not share them. That all comes under cyber awareness. Then we have what we need to know is, do not believe anything blindly. There's a lot of fake news, phishing content, fake websites. So don't believe everything to be true. First verify. Just look for certain signs that the source is genuine, okay, and do not spread them. Like in case of fake news, do not just when you receive a news, just don't forward it. Okay, just verify that first. Use internet security softwares like antivirus. Don't just use antivirus. Use a complete package like antivirus, which has antivirus, firewall, anti-malware. They all work in slightly different way, and they will all protect you from different types of attacks and intrusions. Okay, so use good tools to protect your systems. Install periodic patches or updates. So you get your Android updates, you get your Windows updates. Make sure that you always have the latest patch. Okay? Similar is with the hardware. There are hardware patches, hardware updates as well. Make sure that you do them periodically. Okay. Okay. Let us quickly move further. Cyber hygiene. What you should not be doing. Don't download illegal software from pirated softwares from torrent sites or dark web, because they might contain malicious softwares like Trojans. Avoid visiting marketplace on darknet, because there's a lot of cyber attackers who are looking for people who are vulnerable on the dark web. Okay? Don't visit sites which have pornographic material, because they often have malicious content. So if you download something from there, there's a great chance that you also download a Trojan along with the file. Okay? Install mobile applications only from trusted sources. Do not use untrusted sources. Like you can download an APK file which is not available, an app which is not available on Google Play Store, but you find it on some other site in the form of an APK file. Those are untrusted sources. Avoid them. Make sure that at your home or in your organization, I'll just take this example and relate it with something that you'll be doing as a professional in the industry. At home, make sure that you have a Wi-Fi network. Make sure that you have passwords, the stronger encryption algorithm used. Okay. Similarly, as a professional in the organization, you have to ensure that all the devices that you are in charge of, responsible for, they are configured with the optimum level of security. Okay. Now, if this is a very famous image of Mark Zuckerberg, who is the founder of Facebook. If you see this was, if you see in the second image, you see his webcam is actually covered, which means Mark Zuckerberg knows that anyone can hack into his webcam. So obviously, if his system can be hacked, anyone's system can be hacked, and anyone's webcam can be hacked. Okay. Then we also have these devices these days. Make sure that whenever you have these kind of devices, you configure them, because they are actually listening to your conversation happening. Even if you do not talk to them. If I don't say, hey, Alexa, do this, or hey, Google Assistant, do this, hey, Siri, do this, they are still passively listening to your all the communication happening. Yes, I will talk about that at the end, how to get into cyber cell. I'll talk about that at the end, okay? When we're talking about career. Okay? Enterprise security, best practices, defense in depth. These are all concepts that you should be aware of. Now, the reason I'm telling you about this is that if you're really an enthusiast who wants to make a career in cybersecurity, these are the things that you need to know even as a fresher. Okay, so defense in depth, we just don't have one level of protection. Okay, we have multiple layers of protection. If you just see, we have a data which is accessible by application. Application needs to be secure. The computer in which we have this application, which uses that data, needs to be secure. Our computer network needs to be secure. We have perimeter. We need to have firewalls. We need to protect our system physically, and we need to have policies in place. Like there's a policy that we need to have strong password. That's a policy. That's not technical in nature. That's a policy that organization has, that you need to use strong passwords. Okay, so security works in multiple layers. Okay, so you can work at multiple layers as a cybersecurity professional. Another another best practices, principle of least privilege. Do not give more rights to a person. If there's a junior level employee, he should have limited rights. His senior should have more rights than him, and in the hierarchy, accordingly, the privileges should be given. Just remember these terms: privilege. I'll talk about a job role later. Separation of duties. Don't just have one person, managing everything. You need to have multiple teams, a team of people, and so you have a network administrator, security administrator, someone looking after security updates. Okay, so divide the duties. Zero trust policy. Do not trust anyone. If it is a person, ask him for his user ID and password. Make him log in into the system. Device should also be authenticated. Data should be verified. Verify each and everything in the organization. That's zero trust. And also take periodic backups, so that if something goes wrong, you have the data with you, a copy of it. And if there is a disaster, something goes wrong, you can recover back from it. These are all job roles. Later, I'll talk about that. So best practices, these are the best practices. The last one is set up a security operations center. As a cybersecurity professional, very, very important to understand this concept of security operations center. Okay, so what is the security operations center? This is a group of people who actually use certain techniques, tools, and they keep on monitoring the networks and the security of the organization. It's a dedicated team which will keep on monitoring everything. Okay, now what they do is, and these are also the specializations that you can take up. Okay, as you move up in your career. So risk assessment and management. People in the SOC team will just periodically check if something is at a risk and how to stop that. Threat intelligence. They will try to gather more and more intelligence about new type of vulnerabilities, new types of threats, and share it with the team. Okay. Apply security controls like encryption. You might have heard about cryptography. Okay. So what is the best encryption? Is the encryption done or not? Is the antivirus, anti-malware, firewalls, everything is installed and up to date? Okay. Intrusion detection system is there in place. So they look after these controls. Then they also do a monitoring 24/7, 365 days. So there's a monitoring team as well. If something goes wrong, if there is an intrusion, there's an attack, a team of people will also try to respond to that attack. That's called as incident response. And there'll be a team which will periodically try and test. It's called as vulnerability assessment and penetration testing team, which will try and find if there's a vulnerability, and they will identify them and they will try to protect it. Then you have security auditing, which is also part of the SOC, where they will periodically do an audit of how good the security practices are, both technical and non-technical. Okay, and for getting all this information at one place, they use something called as security information, SIEM. Okay, security information and enterprise management tool. You might have heard about tools like ArcSight, IBM's QRadar. This tool actually helps all these different teams to gather information from multiple sources, from your your antivirus, from your firewalls, from end computers, routers, servers, and they show you everything on one single place. Okay, so that you can actually look all the information at one place. So as a cybersecurity professional, even as a fresher, the SIEM is one technology that you can work with. Okay, so let us start with careers and career option. Before that, I'll talk about the functional areas in cybersecurity in an enterprise. So you can work in the architecture and policy side, where you can design new policies, security policies for your organization. There is a function of data loss prevention. In this, the idea is to ensure that your data is not lost. So what do? Encryption, you ensure backup recovery. Okay, there is something called as governance, risk, and compliance, GRC. This is also a function that your system actually follows certain standards, and you follow those standards because you want to keep your systems safe. Okay, so there's a function which deals with governance, risk, and compliance. Okay, identity and access management. Okay, IAM, verifying users, applications, users' credentials are verified, device credentials are verified. Okay, then you have penetration testing. It's also function. Periodically, penetration tester will try to find out new vulnerabilities in your system and try to identify them and plug them. Then I'm sure you have heard about a term called as DevOps. There's also a term called as DevSecOps or secure DevOps. So in the development phase and in the operations phase, you have to ensure that there is security. Your application itself is developed in a secured manner. It is deployed in a secure manner, and the operations are done in a secure manner. So this is also a functional area. Then you have secure development, software development. Okay, best practices in ensuring that there is no vulnerability in the code itself. Okay, so career path. Something, whatever we have discussed so far, we will try to relate in terms of career path here. Okay, so very quickly, these are the type of. This is not the perfect picture here, because depending on the industry, depending on the companies, depending on the geographic locations, the country, this can overlap a bit. Okay, but in the most basic form, this can be thought of as the career path. So what you can, if you want to join cybersecurity as a field, you can come from other IT roles, or you can, at an entry level, you can join the cybersecurity team. Okay, then you can move up the ladder and you can take up the mid-level positions, senior level positions, and you can reach up to the management positions at the end, later in your life. What happens, what roles we have at the like if you are in any IT role, like software developer, you're a software developer, you are a testing engineer, software testing engineer, you're into IT support, network support. Here, if you are also a network engineer who has network knowledge, that's a very good background to come into the cybersecurity field again, as someone has mentioned earlier as well in the chat. If you are a database administrator, again, or in a role which deals with database, again, you can switch your career in the cybersecurity domain. If you're a web developer, since you understand web application development, you can also work in securing web applications. Okay, so these are some of the IT roles that if you are working in, okay, you can switch into cybersecurity domain. Or if you, from your day one, want to start with entry-level position in the cybersecurity domain, you can start your career as an incident analyst, someone who actually uses a tool like SIEM and tries to find out if there is an incident or a security breach happening. You will try to analyze it and report it to your senior. Okay, so you have penetration tester. I'll go a little quick now. Vulnerability assessor, security engineer. These are certain job profiles. If you just try searching for job portals, you will come across these job titles. Okay, IT auditor, forensic analyst or investigator, SOC analyst. SOC is Security Operations Center. Analyst working in Security Operations Center. So these are certain titles that you can find in job posting sites. Okay, this is how you can start your entry-level position in cybersecurity, or you can, from other IT role, you can jump in. Okay? Then as you grow in 2-3 years, if you're working in this particular domain, you can move up the ladder, and at mid-level positions, you can become a security consultant, cybersecurity administrator, IT security auditor. Okay, senior penetration tester, incident responder is someone who will incident analyst will identify these incident and do some analysis and report it. Responder, who's a slightly senior person, will try to respond, will try to stop that kind of an incident. At a senior level, you can become a cybersecurity architect for the organization. You can become a cybersecurity manager, senior administrators, or a SOC manager. And at the management level, obviously, you can take up the positions of directors or CISO, which is Chief Information Security Officer. Okay, so this is a career path that you can take up. Obviously, you have to have a lot of skills that you can acquire at the entry-level positions. Okay, so let me just give you a brief idea about certain certifications that can help you. Okay, so I'm sure you might have heard about some of these. At the beginner level, you have CEH, which is one of the most popular ones. Okay, you have Offensive Security, OSCP. Okay, there are a lot of certificates at the entry-level position. These are vendor-neutral certifications, apart from Cisco's CCNA, okay, which is vendor-specific. Apart from that, you have vendor-specific certifications as well. Okay, here we're not discussing certifications, which one is better, which one is more in demand right now. But you can take up these entry-level certifications as well. Or what you can do is, which I'll cover at the very end, related to secure certifications and skills. I'll talk about that separately. Once you start working and you become a professional and you're working, then you can take up certain professionals level certifications. These certifications are for working professional with some level of work experience. Okay, this will give you a more push in your career towards the senior level positions. Okay, here you can see you also have ISO standard 27001 certification. You have CISSP. These are certification which will take you towards management side. Okay. Again, you also have vendor specific certifications. Here, I would like to talk about a few things, and the word cloud here, we'll talk about that. Let's see. Here we have only 7 keywords. One is cybersecurity. What you need to do to make a career in cybersecurity right from the beginning. First thing is what can help you. What can help you is learning. Okay, so that you can get skills. Okay, skills are really important. Even if you do not invest in a certification as a beginner, you go to an interview. If you can prove that you have the right skills, you can be taken up for the job, and the organization also sponsors sometimes your certifications. So certifications are costly. So is certifications always required at entry level positions? Not really. What you need to know is you need to prove that you have the right skills. Okay, for that you need to do learning. You can opt for training. Okay, education can help you. Like if you are from a technical background, if you have done engineering in computers or BSc computer, or you have some formal education, that can help you. Okay, but education, training, and learning will help you in acquiring skills. That's more important. Okay, certification will prove that you have that skills, but initially in your career, skills is something that is really, really important. Okay, so so what can help you in starting your career? Skills. So make sure that you invest in acquiring those skills. Okay, what skills? So I have kept that for the question and answer session. For example, let me just talk about what skills. Now, if you are at entry level position and if you are interested in vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, or simply white hat hacking, identifying vulnerability, then you can take up certifications which are aligned to that profile, like CEH or OSCP, which are for acquiring those kind of skills. If you are at an entry level position and you join as an IT auditor, that ISO 27001 certification, or a certification like CISA, okay, Certified Information Security Auditor, will help you, okay, for auditing side. Once you get some more experience, minimum 5 years of experience, and if you want to get into the management, now you're not interested in hacking or stuff where you actually yes, any IT role, from any IT role, you can come to cybersecurity domain. Okay, any IT role you can come to cybersecurity domain. Coming back to that previous discussion that I was doing, if you want to work in the SOC, Security Operations Center, you can join. You can prove that you have the required skills, and yes, you can join as a fresher into the cybersecurity domain. That's what I'm talking about right now. So if you can, if you have the skills, you can get entry into security operations center of a company, where you can take up certifications which are vendor specific, like IBM QRadar certification, ArcSight certification. Okay, you can get the training, but the certifications are costly, so they are vendor specific. CSI is not for entry level. That's for someone who has 5 years of experience. Okay. So these are some of the, so what the key point here is that you need to have the right training, and you need to have the right skills. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's take up questions and question and answer. I'll be talking about this now, but I think before that, the Eduonix team is going to talk to you. They would like to share something. Then we can continue with the question and answer.
Sure. Thank you, Gaurav, and thank you for such an informative session. Yes, guys, we'll have a quick Q&A round as well in another minute. But yeah, Gaurav, if you can just stop the screen share, if you don't mind,
Sure,
please.
sure. I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, so whilst we are just going to have a quick 30-minute discussion before we head into the Q&A round, I had seen quite a few questions or quite a few concerns with regards to the people who are not sure about what exactly is going to be happening. So let me first clarify: the PPT as well as the recording of this session will be shared on the Eduonix dashboard in the next 24 hours. So for the people who have missed out or are not sure, want to learn at their own pace, they can definitely refer to the Eduonix dashboard, and they'll be able to access that the same recording. That's going to happen in the next 24 hours from now. Other than that, there's no certificate for this session because it's a 60-minute information round. It's more of a session wherein Gaurav is sharing his expertise. He's sharing the industry knowledge as exactly what path you need to follow in order to make a career in cybersecurity. So guys, don't expect a certificate just for attending an informative session. I don't think it's going to help you in any way, to be honest. And um, as Gaurav has also mentioned regarding the cybersecurity learning from Eduonix is also one of the things which I also wanted to share with you guys. One more thing is, while I have been also reading about cybersecurity, let me also inform you, I had recently read articles with regards to cybersecurity jobs being in such demand. If I'm wrong, please correct me, Gaurav, that because of the lockdown and the COVID scenario, people started to do a lot of hacking, or people started to get into all these malpractices, online frauds, or cyber frauds, or these sort of activities, due to which in 2020, rather in 2019, 2020, and in fact even this year, there is a huge demand for cybersecurity professionals in the market globally, not just in a particular country, globally. Am I right, Gaurav?
Yes, yes, you are absolutely right, and this will
Yes.
only increase further in future.
And due to this scenario wherein people are not sure about their jobs and people are losing jobs, these online crimes are going to go higher, and that's where cybersecurity, you as a cybersecurity personnel, will be something which would be actually very much in demand. And trust me, I have also read a few figures. They are paying very handsomely for even a starter level. So coming quickly to this concept, what Gaurav has covered is regarding the path and the things which you need to keep in mind or keep in place wherein you actually want to pursue. Now, regarding the learning aspect, Eduonix is also taking care of this, wherein we are actually providing you an opportunity to learn concepts like website hacking, penetration testing, understanding what's essential hacking tools. So there are various technologies which are actually going to be covered in the Eduonix cybersecurity e-degree. Other than that, here you will have a certificate on completion and expert verified responses as well. Plus, it's a self-paced program. You don't have to worry about running with the batch. You can actually go at your own pace in case you're doing a job. And after the job, you want to continue with your learning, you can definitely do that. Now, what's involved? These are the things which are involved. Someone asked me, is there going to be a practical? Unfortunately, in 60 minutes, we cannot have a practical session. But here with this session, with this cybersecurity e-degree, 6 practical projects covering real world issues are actually also there, and plus hands-on training. What's more, you will be also evaluated with the quiz and exams during your entire course of this cybersecurity e-degree. Now, can I just quickly know who all are keen to opt for this? Just put a me in the chat quickly, guys. I'm going to close the chat in another 30 seconds. Great, great, great. So I see a lot of me here wherein people are keen to learn and get ready for the career goals. Great, awesome. So without taking much time, I'll just hand it over back to our instructor today, Gaurav. And also post this, I will share the link with you for you to apply for this cybersecurity e-degree. You will be able to enroll for it. So don't go away. We are heading into the Q&A, and after the Q&A, I'll share the link with you. So stick around. Gaurav, back to you now.
Thank you, Bill. So, okay, let me just. Okay, so I was going through the chat meanwhile, and I was going through your questions. One question is, as a fresher, can you enter a cybersecurity domain? Yes. At an entry-level position, there are job offers in the cybersecurity domain. But as I said, you need to have the skills. Okay. So if you have a computer science degree or a non-computer science, any IT-related degree or a background, you can come, but here they will expect you to have some level of skills. That's the reason here I specifically emphasized on having the right skills. Okay. Then is programming essential? Programming can help you if you are especially moving, trying to start as a vulnerability assessor or pen tester. But there are other aspects of cybersecurity as well. Like there is auditing. There are where you don't actually you need to know about things, but you don't need to know about everything there. Okay, so as an IT auditor or a SOC analyst, where you will be using a tool rather than using programming, programming is essential only if you are if you're thinking of making into penetration testing side. Okay, so there was another question or a set of questions which were on can people from other background, who are not from IT background, can come in? Yes, there are people from non-IT, even non-science background who are working as cybersecurity professionals, and I know about. Okay, how to practice hacking on the legal side? You might have heard about a term called as bug bounty. Bug bounty. Let me just write this certain keywords here. Okay, you might have heard about bug bounty. They are people who actually find bug bounty hunters who actually try to find out vulnerabilities in the systems, and then they actually report it. Their intention is not bad. So if you are doing it with the permission of the target, your target, then it is not illegal. You're trying to help them. Those are the job of white hat hackers. You can work as an independent white hat hacker, or you can work for the organization where you're doing vulnerability assessment and then try to help your own organization in finding out. So there are hackers. They're called as vulnerability assessors and penetration testers working in the organizations. Then there were questions how to get into cyber cell. As I said, cyber cell, people who work in the cyber cell are from the police background. They don't have formal IT training, but if you want to get into cyber cell, you can join the police force first and then get into that. In India, have their own cyber divisions, so you can just go and check their website for openings as consultants. For example, in Maharashtra, there's something called Maharashtra Cyber. Every state in the country has forensic labs. Under that, there is a cyber forensic lab also, so you can apply for those positions in cyber forensic labs as well. Most of those openings are contractual positions, just to let you know. Okay. Then if there's certain consulting companies like PwC also support cyber forensic labs and the state police departments. So there's another channel from where you can actually contribute to the authorities. That's through consulting companies. After IT in college, as I said, you need to focus on skills. Okay, so you need to get trained in the skills, which will give you an edge over others, and you can prove to your prospective employers that you have the right skills and start your career in the cybersecurity domain. As a network security engineer, you can start with any network certifications from CCNA, Cisco, or Juniper. From firewall side, you can start with Checkpoint. That's for networking side. If you want to transition into this, again, you need to ensure that you have the right skill set that can make your transition from non-security background to security background. I think that's where this program is going to help you as well in developing those skills. Knowledge of Linux is essential. If you have that knowledge, yes, that's really going to add a lot of weightage to your profile as a cybersecurity professional. Okay. My country is soon going to apply a law in cybersecurity of assessing all citizens' IP address via the ISP, then divert to another company, the decryptor, to gain access to all sites and data they have also decrypted from cyber law. See, every country has their own cyber law, which is modeled after the laws and the guidelines given by United Nations. India has a cyber law called as the IT Act 2000, and it was revised in 2008. There is a bill which is pending, which is on table and pending for approval, called as Data Protection Bill. So every country has certain laws, and so from country to country it may differ. So something which may not be ethical, if there are no proper laws in the country, may not be illegal. There's a difference between ethical and unethical, and illegal and legal and illegal. So that's a debate that can be done. Okay, PGDIS is worth. As I said, you can get a degree. It's self-learning. You can get a degree from IGNOU, PGDIS. That's actually more suitable for someone who's a working professional and still wants to make a transition. But as I said, if you really want to get skills, you need to do a more intensive program, which will give you those skills, in the real time. Okay, you can learn a lot of things in 5 days by doing things rather than doing a formal course. But that is required if you want to make a transition and if you want to move up the ladder in your career. Which is the most important programming language? I'll say Python is the programming language of choice. But Linux scripting, bash scripts, shell scripts, that's something that will also help you. Any programming language can help you. Python is the most popular one right now, but some older languages like C can also help you. How do we know that the link is right or not to download any software? As I said, please do not go to sites which are giving you illegal softwares, like all torrent websites, okay, dark web, or any sites with pornographic material. Please do not download any extensions, applications, extensions, toolbars from these sites, or any untrusted source. So if I just show you something here very quickly, I'll show you um, this is my LinkedIn account. Here, if you see, there's a lock here. Okay, there's a lock. Okay, there's a lock here which says this is a protected site. See, connection is secure. If you don't see this, in some browsers you will see HTTPS. So if I just go to, let me open a browser in incognito mode. Now, if I just go and type in Gmail, okay, this is one web page which asks for my personal information, okay, like my user ID. Now, if you see there is a lock, some browser you will see HTTPS. Make sure that there is a lock here or HTTPS here. If you have only HTTP or no lock, that means it's not safe. Okay. So these are some basic tools, and this presentation and the video will be there. You can revisit all the things that we have discussed, so that you are better aware about how to be a little more safer in the cyberspace, and try to think in terms of a professional. If you want to make a career here, try to see how these skills can be acquired. Okay. All right, I think I have covered all the questions.
Yes, Gaurav, and it's been really, really great to have you, guiding each one of us and having so much of, patience to answer so many questions. Really, really appreciate all the efforts from Eduonix team, and a big thank you from our audience today. Guys, as promised, I had actually shared the link, but I'm just putting the link across onto the chat once more. Just enroll yourself for this right away so that you don't miss out on the opportunity. Also, since we have actually just exceeded the time today, the only thing what I could do is actually I have offered it on the email, and I've kept the offer live for next 24 hours for you. So make sure you check your mailboxes and get this thing enrolled for. And one last thing, I've also added the feedback link about the session. So you can share your feedback on this link about what you liked, what you didn't like, what would you like to learn next time, and what would you like to have, from Eduonix in the upcoming sessions. We appreciate you as well as the audience, especially from YouTube as well. John, I see that you're saying it's £30. I am okay. We'll make sure that you can just check this link once again. I've pasted it on the chat. uh, let's see, Rajesh, I understand you that you're looking for a free course, but at the moment we are having these offers going on which are actually going to be worth a very low price. We understand the current situation with the COVID affecting a lot of people financially. Hence, we are not charging a huge amount. If you check the pricing on Google on for these sort of e-degrees and the kind of modules we cover, I'm sure you will understand that the price is actually a throwaway price at the moment. And that's the reason why we are giving it out at uh, such a low price. All right. So thank you each and every one of you for being so patient. Okay. All right, John, I am not too sure why you're pasting the entire link again. So All right. Okay, okay. I'm sorry if the Bitly link was a trouble to you, John, but yes, the link which you had shared some time back, that's the correct link, which is going to offer you the offer price, as well as you will be able to enroll immediately for it. So, guys, I am pasting it for the one last time, and we will actually end the session today. Apologies for exceeding the time, but the session was so interesting, especially when it comes to cybercrime and the knowledge we need to have, even as individuals who are not aware, maybe not having enough knowledge about how to protect their laptops, about their computer systems, about even their organizational data. I think this would have definitely helped them to be aware of how to go about it. Saurav, the email has been already been shared to you. Please check your mailbox, and I'm sure you'll be able to see the offer there as well. All right. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being so patient and listening out to our session today. And on behalf of Eduonix team and behalf of Gaurav, thank you for attending today. We'll end this session in another 30 seconds. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gaurav, once again for being so patient and so humble with, and so informative today. Thank you. It's been really pleasure to host with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Eduonix, and all the best to all the participants. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.